What is good? I'm Ernest Christian. I'm here alongside my wonderful wife, Lauren.
Yes. Hi. Sorry, I'm watching the
playoffs. We're actually recording in the middle of the playoffs. Okay, so as you know, we're now under a new name of the podcast called Mixed Bag, which is named by my wife Lauren. I like the name. I think it's actually apropos for what we're trying to do here. Okay, so. Of course, this podcast you can find on all podcast catchers: Apple Music, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Amazon Music, whatever, everywhere.
Is it really?
Of course, check out all my other podcasts, your Ring podcasts.
I'm impressed.
And if you are a wrestling fan, you can check out my Take podcast. Take three. So okay, so today's episode, we are going to review, Friends. The Friends reunion that was on HBO Max that came on about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Yes. Okay, so Friends.
Do I need to warn the listeners that I cuss a lot, and I will most likely cuss a lot.
If they heard the last episode, they probably know that already.
You guys, I'm sorry.
No,
I get very passionate about things.
Yes, and we want, and honestly, I want to keep it authentic and honest.
And I tend to cuss a lot.
I want to keep it. I don't mind it. I like it to keep it authentic and honest, and just kind of close to how we are as people. We're not bad people because we curse.
No, I tend to get very passionate about things, and I know I'm going to be very passionate about this because I was rather disappointed.
Okay, so Friends, of course. Lasted 10 seasons, started in 1994 and in 2004. Friends is one of the biggest sitcoms in arguably the biggest sitcom in the history of television. They had their reunion 2 weeks ago. We watched it 2 weeks ago. We actually recorded a podcast and decided to re-record it because we were not really satisfied with the way we were saying.
I don't think I fully had my thoughts together on it.
Yeah,
and
So what we did, we actually recorded that episode. Literally minutes after I've seen the show.
Yeah.
Which was probably a mistake because I think it's better to
It was a big mistake because I honestly think talking about it that much after watching it made me hate it even that much more.
So do you think your feelings now, weeks removed now, is probably more consistent where it should be as opposed to where it was 2 weeks ago?
I'm not as angry about it as I was. I think I was expecting something much different than what we got.
Right. And
I was rather disappointed. Now, also going into this, we had recently come off of watching Fresh Prince and the Fresh Prince reunion, and that was done differently than the way the Friends reunion was done. And I think I was expecting more of that type of format.
We're actually planning on doing a episode focusing on Fresh Prince reunion.
But I think what my point was is like I was expecting the same kind of format, which was like a round table discussion, which is not what we got. We got
what I say.
I don't even know how to describe
this is the way I would say it. What we got was a more bloated production of Friends. And for me. And I actually did a podcast on this, like a 5-minute podcast on this on my regular show, because I wanted to react to it at the time.
Right.
So there's two ways to look at this whole thing with the Friends reunion. You can look at it more so as the parts that were great were awesome. Like one of the biggest things about the show I love the reunion was the fact that the stories they were telling about what they did on set and all that. When it was about just the 6 cast members and maybe a little bit of the people who were involved in the show, that was the best part of the reunion. The same way with Fresh Prince, it was about the set. They added all this extra stuff. Justin Bieber was there. No offense, Justin Bieber, but why is he? And I know he's modeling costumes from the show, but to me, that wasn't needed. It took away from what was the heart of the show. When it got to this being about the heart of the show, that was fantastic. When it got to be about extra stuff, I mean, Lady Gaga doing.
We had big name people that weren't even on the show, and then we couldn't get big name people who actually were involved. In the
your
show.
biggest complaint was okay. For example, Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd wasn't in it. I don't understand.
And Paul Rudd was a major
a major character in the later seasons for Phoebe. Like I don't understand.
Right. And I saw that I don't know who was the director or who it was, the producer of the reunion. Because people did ask about that. Why wasn't he on the show? And he said something about some excuse about we only had an hour and 45 minutes of recording time. I go, yeah, but you had time to put Justin Bieber in there too.
You had a segment with Lady Gaga singing "Smelly Cat."
Which didn't mind it.
With the choir. No, I didn't mind that part either. And her thanking Phoebe for being the weird one and kind of setting the way for the unique people of the world. Mm-hmm. And I appreciated that. But at the same time, I didn't need that. I didn't need Justin Bieber and whoever else doing the fashion show of the old costumes. I don't need any of that stuff. If I'm watching a show or a reunion of a show that ended 17 years ago, I want to see them. I want to see how they are with each other at that point in time.
Right.
I want to see
I want to hear the stories.
I want to hear the reminiscing of what happened behind the scenes. And I liked learning about how the casting went and all of that. I liked hearing from the writers and the creators of the show. I thought that was really cool too. Mm-hmm. But I didn't need James Corden hosting, and I love James Corden.
Yeah, he was a bit much too.
I didn't need him hosting.
He was too much.
He kind of took away from them.
Yeah,
and now that's the thing for me is it's if I'm watching a reunion of these 6 people, and you are able to bring in other characters that are what are they called? Supporting roles. Okay, like Janice, they brought in.
She was great.
Yeah, she was, but they brought her in for 2 seconds.
Yeah,
she was a big part of the show. Couldn't we have heard a little bit of reminiscing with her?
The whole excuse about we couldn't fit this guy in because of the time constraints. But yet you spent so much time on other stuff that really, honestly,
oh my gosh,
didn't need
that
to be
whole
there.
segment of other random people talking all over the world about how this impacted their lives. That's great and wonderful. I'm glad you guys found your people or whatever. But
I have a two-way argument about that. I didn't mind that segment. It was way too long.
It was way too long, and it was unnecessary.
I think it was necessary.
If you're telling me that you can't get all the people who were supporting roles and big supporting roles at that, okay, that you can't get those people on the show, but you can produce a 10-minute long segment of people,
random people we don't even
random people across the what?
Yeah, that it was too long. That part really did frustrate me. It was cool to see the impact of Friends.
It's nice to see the impact, but I'm not watching a documentary on Friends. I'm watching a reunion.
Right.
I want to hear reminiscing.
Yeah.
I got very little of that.
We don't need 10 minutes of that. I definitely agree with that. How do you think it looked? I thought Rachel Jen Mass looked the same as always. I thought Lisa Kudrow was the same as always. Courtney Cox got some work done. She had some work done. I love Courtney Cox. I love her to death, but she has some work done. Ross looks the same. David Schwimmer.
Ross definitely dyed his hair, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. Joey, played by
Matt LeBlanc.
Matt LeBlanc. He gained a lot of weight.
Yeah, but he's still
Joey. He's still
adorable.
I am worried about Matthew Perry. Supposedly, him and his girlfriend broke up days after this whole thing was finished.
I don't think he looked that bad. I mean, he definitely looks like he's gone through a lot. And he has, as we all know. But I don't think he looked as bad as he could look.
He looked like the most reserved of 6 and the most disconnected. Yeah. Watching him on stage, he was talking, but he didn't it was like he was happy to be there, but not really he wasn't as engaged as say Joey was or the girls.
No, I think it's obvious.
Or the ladies, it's gonna be ladies.
But I think it's obvious that you could definitely tell his teeth are not his. I think it's definitely because he did joke here and there, but I think it was just he's gone through a lot in his life.
And it's funny because he's a favorite character the whole entire show, and and you can see on the show in the 10 seasons, his weight goes up and down. Yeah, he's definitely going through a lot. I don't know. And you heard after the show, like I said, that him and his girlfriend at the time, they broke up like days after the reunion was over. So I mean, I don't know if it's anything related. I don't know. He has some stuff going on around. I don't know, but he definitely of the six cast members, he's definitely one to have the most, I guess, concern for.
Yeah.
It feels like Lisa Kudrow is the most stable of the six, though.
She kind of looked like Diane Keaton in First Wives Club. And
Yes,
I loved it.
Yes, she does.
I love it.
And she's been with the same guy for now almost 30 years, if not longer.
Yeah.
Still married to the same guy, and happy.
I think she was probably always the most stable of all of them.
Funny, she plays the most unstable character, but she's the most stable person of the show. It's quite crazy. You know, like I said, I think this point for me was more so, as you said, you know, not having certain people there. You know, what's the guy's name that plays in the other guy? He was on the show, but he was on satellite. Gunther.
Oh, Gunther.
Yeah, Gunther.
Oh, and they had Richard too. What's his name?
Tom Selleck. He was there. That was cool.
But like that's the thing.
But he was important for the first couple seasons.
Yes,
yes,
but that's what I'm saying. Is you listen to these people talk for like 2 fucking seconds, and it's like what? But why?
Yeah.
Why? I
wanted to hear more.
I could have taken more reminiscing from these particular supporting roles without. They could have made more room for that by taking out that 10-minute long segment.
I totally agree with you on that one. I totally agree with that one.
It was like, oh gosh, it was so disappointing.
It was considered that was hyped up to be this big thing.
Look, if you fucking told me that Paul Rudd couldn't make it because he was filming something else,
Ant-Man 4,
whatever, no, Ant-Man 3, but
I'm joking. It must be.
Whatever it may be, okay, I would have taken that as a more reasonable. Not reasonable. Reasonable is not the word.
Acceptable
Reason to be missing.
Yeah.
But to just flat out be like, oh, it was an hour and 45 long minute thing and we didn't have time for that. It was like, I'm sorry. You don't have time for the character that Phoebe ends up engaged with? Where you go to a whole... Where did they go? I don't remember where they went. Where he comes after her because she's with the... Oh my gosh, what's his name? The scientist guy.
Yeah.
Okay, and he comes in and proposes to her there where Monica's hair is all in a
mess.
You know, like I don't understand. He was such a big character to not have him there and to have Janice talk for 2 seconds and to have Tom Selleck talk for 2 seconds. It was like, what? I don't understand what you're doing.
The biggest reveal for me in the whole thing, honestly, was Ross and Rachel, Dave Schwarber and Jeff Aniston, supposedly had real life crushes on each other, but did not.
No, they just put it. They put it into their acting, which was amazing. But I didn't know that either.
Yeah, the fact that it was a real thing, but they chose not to do it because I think one person was with somebody at one point or another, and vice versa. So they didn't want to. To that, and it could create
they were
issues.
Respectful of each other, which
cool.
I actually liked too. I thought that was pretty cool. But
I know I could do that though. I know if I could have done that, honestly. This is me.
I mean, it's got to be hard, but you know.
Yeah, that was a reveal. Other than that, really, I mean, I don't think we got enough stories.
Nope.
Like you had them doing line reads and stuff, which is cool, and you know.
And the thing is it's not even that memorable. Like,
what the reunion or just the show in general?
No, the show itself is memorable. I freaking remember.
How many times you watch that show now? Like 4 times?
Too many.
Start to finish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Too many times.
I've done it twice.
I know you have. Me, I've watched it. I can't even tell you how many times. It's one of my comfort shows.
You have that show. You have Scrubs. I'll say Fresh Prince of Bel-Air's a comfort show again. And then
Good Boy Meets
World. Yeah.
There's a couple of shows that go back to Glee, Grey's Anatomy. Although I won't even finish Grey's Anatomy.
They're now in season 16, I think now.
No, 18.
18.
Stupid.
Another character's on that show now.
Supernatural is another one I go back to often.
One day I'll watch that show. One day I'll watch that show.
No, you won't.
I will.
You'll never watch that show.
I'll watch it one day. No,
you will never watch that show.
No, I will watch that show one day.
It's like sitting here saying, "Yeah, one day I'm going to finish The Sopranos." No, we won't.
I know. I will watch that show one day. I will. No, I won't. I'm joking.
But no, the thing is we watched the Fresh Prince reunion a while ago now.
About a month now.
And I can still remember stories from that. Like, I can still remember the discussions they had and just, I don't know, the overall...
It was much more emotional. I felt more attached.
I did, and that's the thing is, Friends is one of my favorite shows. It's one of my go-to shows. It's one, and I think that's probably why this reunion was so disappointing. Here's
my question: Do you find that show relatable, Friends? Because in some aspects I could. The problem is that I became my story real quick with Friends is that I became a fan of the show much later. Like, you were into the show probably right when it was ending in 2003 or 2004. I became a fan of the show.
I watched it after it ended.
Right.
Because, like I said, all of the shows that I have ever watched, I think the only show that I started and kept up with was Scrubs.
Right.
Because I started that with
my
parents, and then just continued from there. And that show I watched on air, and now we have all the DVDs. And we know that one by heart.
So I watched Friends like sporadically with this episode on TV and syndication, but I never followed the show like tooth and nail in order until way after it ended. Like, to me, I got into it when I was dating you. Mm-hmm. And then one day, I think, shoot, it might be even after we got married. There was 1 year, I think, where we just decided I downloaded torrents. Remember those old days torrents?
Yeah.
So there was I downloaded the all 10 seasons just cause at the time back then I was collecting shows and stuff.
Yeah.
And I decided to hook up our TVs. Like, let's watch. I'm ready to watch Friends now. I'm ready to do it. Because I'm that kind of watcher.
I think I had watched it already at that point. Because I think I don't know when. I don't even remember when I started watching the show. I just remember that I watched it before you and I watched it. And I remember, like, seeing episodes here and there on TV just at random times of the day and stuff like that, like, way back when. But when I actually sat down to watch the show from start to finish, I was, like, hooked on it. And then I think even after I finished it the first time, I think I went back and started it over again.
Yeah, I think you did, actually. No, you know how I am with TV shows, a lot of shows like that. Like, shows I've watched, I sat one to watch, and I just randomly one day get the mood to do it. That's how I started Friends. One day, I think it was 1 year, might have been on vacation or some crap, and then I decided, you know what, let's just watch the whole show.
Yeah.
That's what we did with Entourage.
Yeah.
Entourage, like, was one of our staycations.
Yeah.
We just decided to spend an entire week staying in the house and ordering pizza, and that's it.
Oh my gosh.
That was fun.
That was so much fun.
I miss those. That's pre-kids.
Like that anymore.
Pre-kids.
We would stay up until like 3-4 in the morning.
Yep.
And then we'd sleep till like 10 and get back up and
we would literally leave the house to walk the dog. That was it. Walk the dog, and if you had to go to the store and do something.
No, I don't even think we went to the store. I think we literally ordered pizza and then ordered sodas with the pizza.
Yeah.
And that was it.
This is pre DoorDash too.
Yeah.
So, no, but it was fun times. But yeah, Friends was one of those shows I got in late, and as I watch it, is it relatable? I can relate to some of the things they went through. Of course, they were in New York. Of course, in my 20s was living down here in Florida. So a lot of the things that they were going through, I just didn't really. I connected in some aspects of the show, but in others, I didn't really. I don't know.
Watch shows
maybe it's
just
culturally
relatable.
You don't?
No.
You watch this for enjoyment.
Yes, I watch it to escape my life.
Yeah.
I dive into TV shows that are not reality, that are not relatable, because I don't want to watch my life on TV. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want to.
Well, show something different. Right?
So it's nice to watch, these characters kind of grow and develop, and you see the relationships develop and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically like watching high school, but in adult form. Like, but is it relatable? No. I mean, I guess when you listen to the writers and the creators of the show, it's relatable to them because it's based off of their life, like what they went through. You know, that sort of thing. But to me, is it relatable? No.
Yeah. I think for me, also for me, I think also it's the, maybe it's cultural too.
Sorry, you keep talking, I'm getting ice cream.
Here was one criticism of the reunion too, especially. The director actually addressed the lack of diversity on the show, saying the quote, "The cast is the cast," and people were asking why wasn't the show have more diversity, and he basically said that we had Malala, we had Maddie Kaling, BTS, the girls in Ghana who the show saved them on that. It is what it is. Aisha Tyler was on the show, didn't make an appearance on there.
Mm-hmm.
Not like
is that Charlie?
That was Ross's girlfriend.
Charlie.
Yeah. And with that, look, people are gonna find things to, and obviously you want to be diversity.
It's the same thing with Boy Meets World. Boy Meets World was.
But again, this is 1994. You can't change what 1994 was. I like diversity. You have an argument if there's
a lot of people who tried to cancel Friends. They tried to cancel it for body positivity reasons too.
Yeah,
because they talked about when Monica was fat.
Yeah,
it's like
you can't please everybody, man. That's the problem. You can't please everybody. It is what it is.
We're talking 17 years ago.
Not even longer than that. The show started 27 years ago.
Right, 27 years ago. My math is off.
Yeah. But like I said, I mean, the only thing I would say that's probably a little bit weird, Aisha Tyler didn't, of the very few blacks that were on the show, none of them came on the show at the reunion. Now they were probably invited, I'm sure, and for whatever reason they couldn't make it.
Who knows?
Who knows
if they were even invited?
But you know what? Screw it. Who cares?
I want to know. You want to know what I want to know? Who, if they invited?
Who?
I want to know if they invited Charlie Sheen.
He was on the show, wasn't he? Yeah. Well, like what episode? Right, 2 episodes.
Who's the Marine guy?
Right.
That Phoebe loved.
That's right.
And they got chicken pox.
Right.
And they had to wear the oven mitts and stuff.
Yes. Right. Yes. I remember that. Charlie Sheen. Anyway, otherwise, I gave, when I did my grade, I think I gave the reunion a C, I think it was, I believe. And that's because when it was great, it was really great. But when it was not about the cast, it was meh. You were actually, I think, on the last one, we did the now defunct episode that doesn't exist anymore. It's in a can somewhere. Mm-hmm. I think you had given it an F, or close to an F. Maybe a D.
It would still be a D.
You hated it more than you did when you first watched it.
I let it go, obviously.
Right.
I mean, like I said, I'm a very passionate person in the moment. Like when those things.
You did make one compelling last thing before you go. You did make one compelling comment about after it came on. You said you would watch the Fresh Prince reunion over and over again.
Yeah, I won't watch it. I don't think I'll watch it again.
And honestly, as much as it pains me to say this, I probably wouldn't watch it either. Because again, there's just too much stuff in there. You know what I mean? So
it's filler.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't want filler.
I wanted more of the cast. I wanted more storytelling. I wanted less James Corden. I wanted less Justin Bieber. Less.
God, they wanted to make this like a whole thing. They could have made it a 3-part series. If they wanted to add in the cultural impact and all that it had, like they could have done that, and people would have watched it. It would have been great. But we needed more of the cast together. That's what we needed.
Totally agree with you on that one. So, all right, that's our episode for our Friends reunion review.
Sorry, guys, don't at me.
Don't at me. You have Twitter anyway. You're good. You'll be good. So I'm Ernest Christian. That's Lauren.
Don't at Ernest for me.
They probably will anyway. We will talk soon. Next episode later.
Peace.